So over quarantine, I have been doing a deep dive of different ideological and faith perspectives. And one of the paradigms I've been looking into is tarot cards, which sounds random, but tarot cards happen to be one of the most interesting and long lasting psychological tools I think that exist. Um, so it's apparently started as a game in Italy in the late 1400s called Tarocchi, and didn't even begin to be used for divination until some dude in the late 1700s was like, use it for divination. And then the occult purposes sort of took off, and you get your Golden Dawn involved, and that's like the 1800s. Anyway, so a lot of people sort of, are either really into the tarot in this more spiritual perspective, from a divination and occult perspective, and or you're like, that's garbage that means nothing and I don't need to pay attention to. Au contraire. What I discovered is because, and this is a theory, I think because it started as a game, in essence, to represent the world, um, of the late 1400s, that you ended up with a really fantastic storytelling tool. Um, uh, uh, that's one of the theories of how this game was used. And if you think about it, this is really you know, pre-literature, the proliferation of books, really. So entertainment wasn't as easy as, let me stream my Netflix and pull my phone up. Like, this was, people had to figure out different ways of entertaining each other. Particularly, when you hit like winter, and you have your long nights and your short days, and you have plenty of time on your hands. And so this this card game was set up, with a cast of characters called the Major Arcana, and it's called the Fool's Journey, and then these subcategories, that are supposed to represent elements that would like impact the Fool's Journey. So traditionally, it's cups, wands, which actually originally used to be polo sticks. So you could tell this was kind of a game for nobility. um, and swords and pentacles, or like coins. And so the typical like explanation for the minor suits are that, like, cups represent love or emotion or intuition. Wands, oh, I forget the regular explanation for wands. I got the one that I've determined in my brain. Um, oh, whoops. Anyway, so you've got your pentacles, which are like your money, your resources, your material resources. Swords are usually spoken about in terms of like the intellect, and then wands are like, oh, I want to say passion, energy, something like that. Anyway, I was watching a video. No, let me back it up. So one of the things that I noticed is that when you watch tarot readings and then you get used to certain tarot readers, it is a very interesting way of giving you an insight into that particular person's psychology. So the traditional idea is that a tarot reader does the cards and then tells you what the cards say, and usually they're saying like they're intuitive and they're getting extra information, and then they put together, um an a story of the situation. And what you'll see, and I'm not necessarily recommending this, what you'll see is that specific tarot readers tend to go in specific directions pretty consistently, and it's a really good insight into their psychology. So, one of those tarot readers, his name is Rich Lopp. He comes from a law of attraction perspective. Like, that's the paradigm he uses when he like does the cards and stuff. And he made a video that talked about how the secret of finding true love is in the suit of cups in the tarot. And then he only gives like the back half of the explanation. And I was like, what, what What about the first half? Where's this info? Um, and so I went and got my own tarot decks because this is very interesting to me, and I wanted to like take a look at it for myself. So I got two decks. One was the Modern Witches Tarot, which is based off of what's typically called the Rider-Waite deck, although people are trying to correct that because the artist wasn't given credit. So they're calling it the Smith-Waite deck. That's kind of your archetypical deck. And then the other one I got is this one called Tarot of the Divine by Yoshi Yoshitani. Not gonna lie, it's my favorite one. These cards are freaking stunning. They're so pretty. Anyway, so I get the decks and I start taking a look. And I'm like, okay. So we're just gonna go through them really quickly. You've got your Ace of Cups, which is usually like the first offering, like of love. And then you have your two people trying to share their cups of love with each other. Um, and then we're celebrating. I guess love's going really well. But then things take a turn, and typically the Four of Cups is shown. The person is dissatisfied. They're looking at the three cups they have, and then there's this like fourth cup back here, like hey, and this person isn't looking at it. So the Four of Cups is dissatisfaction. Then we get to the Five of Cups, and now we're sad. We've lost our three cups, but there's still two. There's still two, but the person doesn't see it, and that seems to be pretty consistent through the art that I've seen in different tarot decks. The Six of Cups typically represents childhood, nostalgia, thinking back to better times. The Seven of Cups represents having multiple options. The Eight of Cups is you're walking away. You're walking away from all the cups. And the Nine of Cups is like fulfillment, like you're good in life. And then Ten of Cups is you finally have your happy ending. Now, what he basically says, this was his explanation for the back half, which I thought again super interesting, is that you lose your cups, and then you at some point go, you know what, I'm going to walk away from my cups in search of the truth. And while you're in search of the truth, that is when you find the truth and you are now emotionally fulfilled. And only then is when your partner comes in and true happiness comes in. And I was like, whoa, let's take a deeper look. So I've been sort of looking at these cards and other ones for a while. And I have a specific analytical perspective that I'm not saying is necessarily true or intended. You know, we look at movies and we come up with like theories as to what's going on, and like no one really knows. Like there's like 14 different explanations for The Shining. So, you know, this is nothing but supposition. However, it is supposition based on what I know to be true for people. So, let me get comfortable. All right. So your first cup is what's offered to you. And so you go from the cup you have to give plus the cup that's offered to you. So you go from 1 to 2 cups. And then you bring in friends and family. And now you have 3 cups. You have a celebration. 4 of cups is where it gets fun, right? We have our 3 cups. We've got our friends, family, our cup, our beloved's cup. And then, but we're not happy. And there's like the cup in the corner. Like, what is that? Well, I was like, what if that's the cup of self-love that we're ignoring? Because we're looking at these other cups to make us happy. But can other cups make us happy? No, no. Only the cup of love can make us happy. So we have the 3 cups that we've lost because we were trying to put our happiness there. And we have the cup of love that we were ignoring, our self-love. And then what's this other cup? my supposition is that this other cup is healing, right? So we're ignoring our self-love, we're ignoring our healing, but they're there in the background, ready for us to turn around after we're done mourning the loss of the three cups. Well, what happens after we lose? What happens after we lose our cups and we're sad and we lose those relationships and we're starting to heal? We often think back to better times. And so here we have an adult offering a cup to a child. But that literally could be, you know, us offering a cup of here's your memories of happiness, or here's your history of happiness, or here's your grounded understanding of what it means to be happy. Here you go. Past to present. And then the Seven of Cups, which is supposed to be options and dreams. So it's like imagine you got we're looking at these cups to make us happy. We're looking at, the cup we have to give others because we like, oh, I want to love others. Then we're looking at the cup others have to give to us because we want to be loved. And a cup of, this is not related to the imagery on this particular in the cups. The cups of our familial or friend connections. Um, the cup of our self-love somewhere. Cup of healing, cup of, hope and happiness past, and then our cup of dreams, right? Like we're dreaming, we're hoping for better. So it's 7 cups. And the 8 of Cups is where it gets fun because we walk away. What are we walking away of? In search of the truth. So the 8th cup is the truth, self-knowledge. So once you have found your self-knowledge, you are able to hold the cups you weren't able to hold before. You are able to hold your own cup to give to somebody else. You are able to hold the cup that someone can give to you. You are able to hold the cups that you get from your friends and family. You are able to hold on to your cup of self-love. You are able to hold on to your cup of healing. You're able to hold on to your cup of happiness. You're able to hold on to your cup of hopes and dreams. You're able to hold on to your cup of truth. And now you have your whole set of cups. So I guess we call this the cup of self-knowledge. So the last cup would be the cup of truth. This would be the cup of self-knowledge. You put all those cups together and you're in a position to finally be in a happy, fruitful, wonderful relationship. And even if you aren't, it doesn't matter because you are happy in yourself on your own. And so if this comes in, great. And if not, you're still doing fantastic. And honestly, that's kind of what I've seen. No, that's not kind of what I've seen. That's exactly what I've seen. When we start relationships from a place of neediness and longing and yearning for someone else to complete us, we're asking someone else to pour into a cup that we have not been able to fill. And because we have this aching wound inside ourselves, nothing is going to be enough to fill it. It's just like people keep pouring it and we can't, it doesn't matter. A really good example of this is when people are insecure. So you can give an insecure person a compliment or 5 million compliments and they don't hear it. It does not stick because what's happening in their brain overrides any external factors. It's only when we truly can get to a place where of wholeness, like we've moved towards wholeness, we've moved towards self-love, self-awareness, being able to heal ourselves, being able to give ourselves hope. When we're able to pull into wholeness, that's when we're able to relate to other people in a way that doesn't reduce them to meeting our needs. And I know I talk about this on this, I read it a lot, but when you reduce another person to a function, you're using them, even if you don't mean to, even if you think to yourself, oh no, but I'm going to give them so much. So I'm not using them. But really, you're using them to feel secure. You're using them to feel loved. You're using them to make yourself feel a certain way that you can't make yourself feel inside. It turns a relationship into a transactional one. And the second they're not able to meet your needs, you end up dissatisfied, looking at the cup like, why aren't you meeting my needs? I'm giving you so much. This isn't how this should go. Um, a lot of non optimal, unsafe, not great relationship behaviors come from entitlement. And, if that entitlement is unreasonable, if we're looking to other people to meet the needs that we should be meeting for ourselves, we're not ever going to be able to have those needs met. And it's frustrating. I talked about that in the last video, how it feels very, very unfair, but unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, that's just how it is. Anyway, so I just thought that was super interesting that that particular journey could be intuited from the traditional Rider-Waite, Smith-Waite tarot deck um, structure and artwork. And then I'm going to show you the other one because it's like the prettiest deck. Okay, so that one is the Ace. We got the Two of Cups. This is a very woke deck. The Celebration, Three of Cups. Now, I love this Four of Cups because in Yoshi Yoshitani's deck, it is the Four of Cups is romanticizing bad decisions while you ignore the nightingale that can save your life. It's based off a fable. And I just thought that was fantastic. And so, anyway, there's more and they're beautiful, but that's not what this video is. So, um, hopefully that's interesting to somebody else and not just me. Anyway, hope you have a great day and I'll talk to you next time.